Tonight's 270 weather is powered by R&R Controls, located in Brownsville. Building from traditions and values established in 1985, family-owned R&R Controls has served the 270, including Brownsville, Bowling Green, Glasgow, and Litchfield, with HVAC service, installation, building automation, and Generac sales, installation, and support. Never be without. Call R&R Controls 270-777-2024. That's R&R Controls 270-777-2024. We thank you, R&R Controls, for being a sponsor of 270 Weather. Well, good Monday evening, everybody, and welcome in to 270 Weather. Weather for the 270 area code and beyond. I'm Chris Allen, and let me just back up here for just a moment, because what you just saw just moments ago is something new. I don't have just one new sponsor, but I have two new sponsors, and I just want to say hi to them right now and thank them for being a part of 270 Weather. First, you saw R&R Controls. They're in Brownsville. Some great folks who can do a lot of things. HVAC, they can do any kind of controls that you need, automation for buildings, and probably their most important service is what you see right there. They are an authorized Generac generator dealer. Sales, service, installation. A lot of you have told me that because of the wild weather that we've had lately, you have really thought about getting a generator, and I don't blame you. These are the folks to talk to. R&R Controls, they can set you up and get you going, however big of a generator you need, whether it's, something like a smaller 20, 24 kilowatt, or maybe something bigger, maybe industrial for your office or an industry. They can do all that. I went up to their place today in Brownsville and just saw a big list of all these different locations, homes, and then locations, like businesses that are getting these generators. And let me tell you, we don't know how crazy the weather is going to get, but wouldn't it be nice to know that when a storm comes, you've got one of those generators? You may say, those things are expensive. You see down there in the bottom corner of their logo, it says financing by Synchrony Bank. They can get you set up with financing even for these generators. So talk to R&R, good people, 270-777-2024, and they can get you set up. They got a whole team of people that can set you up with a Generac generator, the best in the business. No matter how small, how big you need, home, business, industry, they've got them. And then I want to welcome our second new sponsor, Wild Bird and Nature Store. What a combination. We were talking about wild weather. Well, why don't we talk about wild birds and nature? Hey, the weather's about about nature. Yeah. So Jerry and Jeff D, a lot of you folks know them. They just had that big tent a few weeks ago that was full of herbs and all kinds of stuff. Well, they had such success with that. And they said they had many, many people that came up to them and said, well, I heard about your tent sale through 270 Weather and Chris Allen. And so I'm like, hey, glad I could help. So they decided to come on board and be one of our sponsors. So we've got two brand new sponsors, R&R Controls and Wild Bird and Nature Store, and we just appreciate them so much for sponsoring 270 Weather. It does. It means a lot to me for your trust and just all of that with this forecast and with well just what I'm doing here out of my home. Um, Nothing fancy, but we get the job done. Okay, let's take a look. The current time 6:53 here on this Monday evening, June 2nd. We take a look outside, and there is the Plano Cam. You know, I should probably get a sponsor for the Plano Cam. I'm just looking at all kinds of opportunities. Yeah, for sponsorship. Hey, it helps. It helps pay for the software, the computers, all the stuff I got going on here. None of this is free. It's free to you thanks to the sponsors. So, but anyway, there's the Plano Cam. We still have that hazy look to the sky. We're still dealing with some of that Canadian, uh, you know, fire and smoke that's coming down this way. It's going to give a hazy look to the sunshine as we continue on. So that's not going to change. It'll be with us again tomorrow. So you can almost bet on it. And the temperatures are going to continue to go up too. It's just part of switching from May to June. We knew it was going to happen eventually. Today's high officially at the Bowling Green Airport, 83, and that's exactly normal for this time of the year. And our low today was 60, but we've had no rainfall, no precipitation past 24 hours. Everything has been very quiet. This is like one of the first days we've had in a long, long time that we have not had to deal with rain. I know it has been that long. It's been a long, long time since we have had to even talk about rain. So yeah, it's kind of a nice break from having to deal with it like we've dealt with it before. But I've got a feeling, and I'm going to show you in a minute, we're going to deal with rain again, and maybe lots of it again. Grr. Everybody say grr. We don't want, it's like, please just turn off the faucet. We've had enough. So here's a look at the radar. You can see just all we're seeing here is a lot of ground clutter, but even the radar, I think some of this that we're picking up is some of the smoke at times. Um, but it's just otherwise it's just dry. There's nothing else going on. I don't anticipate anything else going on for a while until we get to maybe into Wednesday evening and then through the rest of the week into the weekend and even the beginning of next week. We're talking about rain and maybe lots of it. I know that's not what you want to hear. And especially for those of you who are trying to cut hay or do some field work, you've had a couple of days, and you get today and tomorrow, maybe part of Wednesday, and then here we go again. Sorry. Here's a look at temperatures. And we've been in the 80s today, as you saw. Um, Now we're seeing a lot of 70s to the east, upper 70s to low 80s west. Moisture content, dew points are in the 60s, but look, there's a big dew point gradient that is off to our north and east. because you can go from the really humid air, and I mean, it's soupy, upper 60s, even low 70-degree dew points, even as far east as Barron County. But then you go over to Metcalfe County, and the dew point is only 58. You go north to Hart County, and the dew point is only 48. What the what? I mean, that's a huge difference. So, you guys that are watching me in part of the 270, the eastern part of the 270, or even the 606, you're like, what are you talking about? It feels good. It doesn't feel humid here. What are you talking about? Well, oh, yeah? Come on over here. Go along and west of Interstate 65, and it's muggy. The numbers prove it. Let's look at the humidity percentages. Look at this. Humidity, look how dry. 30s in the Green River Lake area. That's humidity percentage, 36%, 39%. But then you come on over to Bowling Green and west, we have humidity of 59, 68, 70. Uh, there is a definite gradient to the atmosphere east of us versus west. Has there been any precipitation today? Nope. Well, wait a minute. This is from very late last night and very early this morning. There were remember those little renegade showers that came by last evening. So back in Hopkinsville, Christian County, they picked up just a little bit over a quarter inch. And then Todd County picked up 11 hundredths of an inch. Okay. But that's it. Nobody picked up rain during the day today, during the daytime. Winds right now are out of the northeast, and very light. And it looks like they'll stay light to near calm as we go into tonight and for the start of tomorrow. I don't see that changing. All right, let's move on to the maps, and then we can discover what's going on with this dew point gradient that we're seeing right now. Here we go. We load things up. Is there anything out there? Well, that's depicting a little bit of smoke in the air. There is this boundary. Now, this boundary is starting to fall apart. It's a warm front, but everything east of that warm front is nice and dry and comfortable. That's why we saw the lower dew points and humidity over to the east. But west of that boundary, west of 65, and the boundary, I think, is a little more like right in here through Bowling Green and east, or west, I should say. So that anything west is now under the warm and humid air. So that's why the dew points, there's such a contrast between the boundary to the west and east of the boundary. Now, overnight tonight, things will be pretty quiet. There could be some patchy fog, especially in eastern Kentucky, maybe some around here, but I really don't see too much of that happening. But then we go into Tuesday. This is Tuesday afternoon. High pressure still in control, but now we're in that really, everybody tomorrow will be in that really warm, muggy air. But it'll be capped off. There will be a lid of warmer air above us, just kind of holding off any kind of upward motion that would cause showers and thunderstorms, at least for the time being. So I think tomorrow will be dry, just like today. Those of you that have just basked in the more comfortable air and the lower dew points today, you're going to feel more humid tomorrow. Everybody. Here we go into 7 p.m. Tuesday night. Still dry, still under the influence of high pressure. Now we get into Wednesday and things start progressing. Now, this is a very slow moving system that's coming in from the west. And I do think much of Wednesday will be dry. At least the first half of the day will be dry. But by, say, late afternoon into the evening, we'll begin to see mostly um, late day sun energy driven thunderstorms. We call them diurnal. If you hear that word, I know it's one of those words. It's one of those fancy $5 words that meteorologists throw around. Let me just simplify it for you. The sun heats up the surface, all the available moisture, the cap is broken, and you get upward motion and you get thunderstorms because the warm air goes up, it's cooled, builds the storms, and then they rain. That's all that diurnal means, pretty much. It's just sun driven energy to help fuel the thunderstorms from the available moisture, the mugginess. So I think at first that's what we're going to see Wednesday afternoon and evening, and not so much from a frontal boundary. But that frontal boundary, as you see it coming into view right here, and it's stalled. This is Wednesday evening. A few showers and a few thunderstorms, especially along and west of 65. Heavier rains up into central and southern Illinois. But as we get into the end of the week, here's Thursday morning, a little bit more coverage, scooting a little bit more east. Here is 7 a.m. Friday. The front begins to move. Now, it's going to move very little. And there are going to be these pieces of energy, little disturbances that are going to move along the front and push out east. And that's what's going to keep us with the chance of showers and thunderstorms as we head into the weekend. Now, starting Thursday is the 400-mile yard sale. But those of you that always set up a booth or you put things in your yard, you do this every year. You know, this is the drill. Warm and muggy during the day, late day showers and thunderstorms. Then after dark, they're gone. This just reset. So let me go back. Here we go. So that's going to be the drill as we head into the weekend. This is Friday morning. There's the front. Let's go Saturday morning. See, it stalls. And look where it stalls. Right here in the same place that it has stalled before. Remember April? Who could forget? I'm not saying this is a replay of that, but if this thing sits here like we're seeing it right now, we could have heavy amounts of rain this weekend. Yeah. Here, did you see the map move? I didn't. That's Sunday. Let me go back. Okay, it did a little. There's the front. All right, that's Saturday. Here's Sunday. And here's Monday. Oh, unable to load weather day. Well, if Monday was painted in here, it hasn't been updated yet, it would all be green again. I'm telling you. Here, this is our unusual uh spring continuing. It just keeps on coming. The rain, that is. So, how much rain are we talking about? Let me see if I can get you well, I thought I had it up here. I may have to call it up separate. Oh, let me do this. Severe weather? Let's look. It's always a possibility with these kind of fronts that come in, but we're not really seeing anything that's today. Nothing really around here. Here is Tuesday, tomorrow. Severe weather threat back in the plains. Let's go to Wednesday. Now we're looking at, well, it's trying, but keep in mind that frontal boundary is going to slow down to almost stalling out. And so that will, where it sits, will be the focus for some severe weather and heavy rainfall from Wednesday all the way through the rest of the week. So those of you wanting to cut hay and do some yard work, you better get it done like now, because after Wednesday, you're not going to have much of a chance. Now, Thursday and then Friday, nothing. Saturday, nothing. And then Sunday, nothing. But here's the thing, something could be added as we've seen it happen many, many times already this spring. Something could pop up and bring us severe weather. All right. So let's look now at how much rain are we talking about? So here we go. Let me call it up. This is the QPF quantitative precipitation forecast. Look at all that rain. I mean, this is for the next week. Rainfall amounts are going to be the heaviest Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, maybe even West Tennessee. But even here in the 270 and the 615, we're looking at rainfall amounts of inch and a quarter, 2 inches, but some locally, what we call locally heavy rain. The potential is there to see 2 to 3 inches, maybe more during the next 5 to 7 days. So while this doesn't look like anything big, it's a very good possibility that we could be looking at some high water come this weekend. What about the model blender? Let's get an update on that. And we're looking at maybe, I've said this, maybe 90 for the first time this year tomorrow. If not tomorrow, maybe Wednesday. Then with the rain, the added rain cooled air, it's still going to be warm and humid Thursday, Friday, mid 80s. Then we start to see lower 80s Saturday and Sunday. Then much of next week, we're talking mid 80s every day. And that's where we should be this time of the year. 83, 84 is your normal high temperature for this time of the year. So we're going to be right there at it. But the next couple of days, we're going to be above normal by several degrees. And like I've said already on TV and here, it wouldn't surprise me if we hit 90, officially hit 90 tomorrow. And some of you on your back porch or front porch thermometers may actually hit 90 tomorrow, because there won't be any rain and hardly any clouds. There will be that haze from the smoke from Canada, but that's not really, I don't think, going to cool us down that much. So here is the 7-day graphical forecast. 84 tomorrow, hazy. Same for Tuesday, 89. I'm sorry. That 84 is today. Tomorrow is the 89, maybe 90. Yeah. Then we start to see some rain chances late day Wednesday, 87. Then we see low to mid 80s, gradually getting a little cooler as we start to get more rain chances. That's a natural thing that happens. Um, there you see the 400-mile yard sale, which begins Thursday and runs through Sunday. Uh, for those of you who are either going out to buy something, or more importantly, those of you that set up a canopy or a tent or an awning, one of those 10 by 10 little things you can unfold. And will there be any wind? Well, there could be, especially with any stronger thunderstorm. And there could be some heavy rain. You're going to have to tarp some of your stuff occasionally. But like I said, if you've done this for at all, uh, the yard sale at all past few years, this is typical. This is a very typical forecast for yard sale weekend. It doesn't stop anybody. It's not going to stop me. I'm going to go out this weekend and do like I always do. It'll be fine. We'll just have to dodge the rain and the thunderstorms and maybe some wind. Okay. So there's your forecast. Again, I want to say many, many thanks to Conleys who run R&R Control up in Brownsville. Um, and then, of course, Jerry and Jeffy who run Wild Bird and Nature Store. So we're going to alternate days that they sponsor 270 Weather. Today is R&R Controls Day. Tomorrow will be Wild Bird and Nature Store Day. And they just kind of trade places. And because I put out the call to everybody, I said, look, if you're a small business, let me do some good for you, because you're trying to do what you do and let people know about it. And I've got a pretty good audience here. Just during the month of April, this podcast had over 3 million views, not people, but views. Okay. That's people clicking on this and watching a certain part of it. Maybe not all of it, but several minutes of it. 3 million. I couldn't believe it. But the Google Analytics came back and it's like, look what happened in April. Wow. That's crazy. But anyway, it's cool stuff to be able to do this from home and to have it all set up and running. And I just appreciate the people who are willing to sponsor, and I want this to work for them. So I need you guys that are over here in the chat or talk to me about, hey, I watch your podcast. Okay. Now I want you to go to our sponsors and let them know how much you appreciate it and buy a generator or buy a heating and cooling system from R&R, or go to the Wild Bird and Nature Store. I'm going to tell you about some of the things they've got going on there tomorrow. They've got bird feeders and all kinds of cool stuff. So just honor our sponsors. Thank you very much. Have a great evening. I'll see you early tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. for News 40 Sunrise. In the meantime, have a great evening.